Yooosin, welcome back today, you guys. Today, we're going to be starting a brand new series of me on a brand new Monopoly Go account, building up my dice up to 50,000 dice as fast as humanly possible. That's going to be the goal for this, and I have not made any sticker trades at all whatsoever. You guys tell me down in the comments if I should be making some sticker trades or if I should do this 100% solo. And I'm going to be letting you guys know all my tips and tricks along the way, and hopefully I answer a lot of questions and show you guys a lot of my strategies that I'm using to make our way up to 50,000 dice as quickly as possible. So let's hop into the first episode of this series. And to start this series off right, what you're seeing here is the tutorial. This is like the first just start of the account. You know, I'm sure all you guys are familiar. And here in the beginning, I don't even have any high multipliers, no events, no goals, no nothing. And I can only roll normally, so I'm just rolling just till I unlock my multipliers so I can use airplane mode efficiently and make sure that I'm completing events, gaining dice, and all that fun stuff. And here, boom, I have my multiplier now. I wanted to skip through that little 15 minutes of me just rolling on ×1 for you guys. And here, I'm going to start my first sequence of airplane mode here in a moment. And it's going to be, this is what the whole series will be about. Just me milking this strategy to see as far as I can get, spending no money at all and showing you guys what you could possibly do. And here I'm starting my first little round of recording numbers. As you can see on the screen, you know, I wrote them down at the time of the recording. Obviously, you need to make sure that you're recording those numbers so you can use them to your favor. And I believe I get a good few numbers here, and I get a good few hits on the ×5. And it feels really good when you're low level because every single giant hit gives you so much cash, which is giving you the net worth points, which is then unlocking everything you need, giving you more dice, giving you everything that you need. And here we get our first no internet of the series, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of that, go into our storage, delete that, turn airplane mode off, and make sure that we're logging back into that same account, backtracked in time, as you know. If anybody has any questions about how airplane mode works or anything like that, I have tons of videos explaining step by step exactly how it works on my channel. Please just feel free to reference to them. I'm just kind of making this series to show you guys that this is what happens when you do use this strategy, essentially. And here we're just logging back into our account, and I'm just showing you guys this here for the first cut of the series, making sure that you guys see exactly what you're supposed to be doing and what I'm going to be doing over and over and over again. And here we're back loaded in like we never even rolled. We got all of our dice back, and I know exactly what the numbers are going to be. And that first roll, I just did that to make sure I was on track and I know exactly where I'm at. And here we go right back at it. I must have decided that number wasn't any good, that next number. But it's okay if you land on a railroad. I hear a lot of people having so much confusion that they're landing on good tiles when they're only on ×1, but they're not landing on the good tiles when they're rolling high. And it's okay if you roll on good tiles when you're rolling low. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're also landing on high tiles, of course, and making sure that you are maximizing your multipliers as well. And here in the beginning, like I said, there is no goals. I have no events, no anything. The only thing I'm trying to do is use airplane mode to hit railroads and get money as much as possible so I can upgrade the account, get everything unlocked just so I can really start cooking. So what you're going to be seeing here in this little fast forward montage here is me doing airplane mode, but what you're really focusing on is I never take any bad rolls. When you're at such a low level and you have no dice to spare, there's never a time where I can, let's say, roll on ×5 3 times and then finally I hit the railroad, so I just turn off airplane mode and accept it. No. If it takes me more than one roll to hit what I want, I am not accepting it. I'm backing out, and I'm just going to take my odds because I do not want to waste any dice. I need to save up every little bit I get from all the net worth upgrades. I need to save every little bit that I get from completing boards. I need to save all the dice. So if I'm not instantaneously, like on my first roll, hitting a railroad or hitting what I want, I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to keep it. And the only time that I'm going to like bail out of airplane mode is going to be if I land on what I want right away, immediately. I'm not going to be taking any risks because the main goal is to hit 50,000 dice here. And if I'm playing risky with the dice, it's going to take me a lot longer than what's planned. So I know for sure that if I play very, very conservatively, I should be able to pull it off pretty quickly. And here at this point in the video, you can see I finally unlocked our first event. The top event finally comes through. I think it's after you beat the third board there, after you complete that third board. And now we actually have a target, and we actually have a multiplier that goes up to 10. Now we have enough dice that we can roll on times 10 multipliers, so we can get some even more juicy hits. So here, after we get our times 10, I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward the footage and save you time, because this is going to be about 20 minutes of me doing my airplane mode over and over and over again on times 10, making sure that I get the absolute maximum out of my dice and not wasting any, like how I mentioned before. This took me about, I would say, about 20-35 minutes maybe into the entire clip to get to this point. And here we're going on through, because we're still trying to unlock the tournament, the leaderboard tournament, where you can actually fight with other players. That's on the side of the screen, because then everything will come into full effect and we'll be able to manipulate, both the top event and the side event both at the same time. And conveniently, when this is recorded, the top event and the side event, the railroad, are both getting rewarded from landing on railroad tiles. So it just so works out that that's what the predicament is when I started this series. And now we're here. Finally, all of our times 10 rolls paid off. Now we have our side event, our side tournament ready, and now we could start landing on those railroad tiles and start really getting the dice out of both events. And you can see there as well, I'm also keeping track of my chance cards and my jails to make sure I can maximize my dice out of those as well. And if you don't know how that works, I also have videos about that. It's like when you hit a chance card, if you pull dice, then you know that if you pull it on airplane mode, let me make sure you know, if you're rolling on airplane mode and you land on a chance and you get dice, you know that when you go back to your real play, your next chance card will be a dice. Make sure that you roll high for that and you get as much dice as you possibly can. And while the events are here matched up, like I said, both events are rewarding for the railroad. I'm making sure that I can play up the tournament and up the rewards as much as I can without going too far. Because if you go too far into the rewards, like, I'm just a little guy. If I'm trying to complete maybe the first 10 steps into the tournament, maybe the first 10 steps into the top event, but I'm not trying to go through and try to fully complete an event or anything like that. I don't have nearly enough dice, nearly enough anything to even try to do that. And it normally comes out to be a net negative unless you're being very, very, very strict. So I'm being very strict and also only just going for like the first 10 or so steps just to maximize that first bit of dice I can get to make sure that I stay profitable and I don't waste any. So what you're going to be watching here is a fast forwarded video of me doing my tournament and my top event. And like I said, I'm not going to be going that far into the events. So my goal here is probably to just get like the high roller reward out of the tournament on the right side of the screen, because we want to see if we can get a big old juicy airplane mode hit, on our first playthrough. And you can also see here that I'm starting to stack up dice as well. I'm getting to that like 500 range. So now I could start rolling on times 20. So that's even going to make our normal hits. It's making all of our normal play much faster. Instead of airplane moding and hitting on times 5, I'm hitting on times 20. And here we go. We got our first high roller, and I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to immediately put it in airplane mode and immediately start recording numbers, hoping that I can get at least one fat juicy hit for you guys in this first playthrough. And this isn't actually a great thing to catch on camera. I do that a lot of the time, and that's a nice strategy. Right when you unlock the high roller as a reward, you can turn airplane mode on right away, and your phone doesn't even register that you opened up the high roller. So then when you log out and log back in, it reopens the present again and restarts the timer back at 5 minutes again. And it's an awesome thing that happens. Oh, that's what it was. I got a 5 roll. That's what it was. I got a 5, so I upgraded the board and did the strategy that we all know and love. You know, if you have a 5 and your target is railroads, you can upgrade the board, get set back to go, roll a 5, and you'll immediately get you'll roll that 5 and you'll land on railroad. That also works if you need to land on income tax. You can roll a 4 or a 12 for utilities, lots of different things. And that's a big old juicy one for the first playthrough. Actually, that's so fat, the 100 roll in our first playthrough. And then you're immediately getting dice back. Immediately, I'm working so close to the top part as well, which is going to give me a ton more dice. I'm just working on trying to make sure I can at least hit those big ones that are going to give me those like 400 dice, 300 dice. I want to make sure that I at least close that gap, because I don't want to halfway get there and then stop, because at that point I wasted my dice. So I want to make sure that I at least complete each milestone that I need to complete without going too far. And so for the rest of this footage, this is just going to be me playing after the high roller expired, just regular play for the rest of the day until I got to the point where I felt fulfilled and I couldn't go any further into the tournaments. I made sure that I went to all the websites and got my free dice links and all that jazz to make sure that I got my dice as high as I could for the first day. And for the first day, our stats were, my XP was 260 and my dice was at 1,935. And that's how we ended off our first session. And hopefully that answered a few questions and showed you at least what you could do for a first play. If you're going to sit down and play for an hour, I think that took me about an hour and 20 minutes to pull off altogether. So that's our first day. And if you guys have any other comments, concerns, or ideas for this type of series or anything like that, make sure you go leave it down in the comments. Yooosin out.